just said he didn't want me in the strip club. I was like, well, I don't think nothing wrong with going to the strip club.
Strike that from the record.
No, it stays on the record. Yeah. The audience needs to know how much of a bastard you are.
It ain't no sin to go to the strip club, you know. I was just being rebellious.
Well, we got plenty to talk about today.
Of course we do. After all the great stuff that happened this weekend.
I know. I'm saying.
God, it's just, man.
Now, you and I had a spirited debate all over the internet, apparently.
If we could like publish the transcript of our text messages back and forth, you might be the little kid in the room saying, "Mommy and Daddy, stop fighting." It was pretty spirited. Good points on both sides. It was pretty spirited.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But let's just break it. Let's just get into it right now, I guess.
Yes.
Apparently, they've made an announcement that Ben Affleck, good old Ben, is going to be the Caped Crusader.
The Dark Knight himself.
Yes. Now, a whole lot of people, are upset about this choice.
There's a lot of nerd rage out there. It's when nerds get mad, it's hilarious but pretty ugly at the same time.
I, on the other hand,
mm-hmm.
I'll actually think this is a good choice. Now, I didn't at first,
mm-hmm.
but I would really more have liked a Ray Stevenson,
mm-hmm.
or I don't know.
Is it just me? Is Ray Stevenson like a fucking chameleon? Like, there's sometimes he's in a movie, you're like, wait, that was Ray Stevenson?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a chameleon. You're like, wait, whoa.
But I mean, like, or Josh Brolin maybe. Like if you wanted someone to fill out that whole Batman the Animated Series, serious looking Batman,
mm-hmm.
I think you got to go with either of those guys. But at the same time, I understand why they picked Ben Affleck, and I kind of like the decision. And I'll tell you why. Because when you look at Ben Affleck, you see a guy who's a bit of a playboy. Well, he's at least had that reputation in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a big guy. He's an athletic looking guy.
Wait a minute, stop.
And he's pretty smart.
Okay, wait.
I'm not finished.
Okay.
And he's pretty smart. But when you look at him, you don't necessarily say that's Batman. But at the same time, when you think about it, the people of Gotham probably think the exact same thing about Bruce Wayne. Good looking guy, real smart, but I don't think he's Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much why I like it. Plus, at the same time, like if this would have been 5 years ago, I would have said no way. But seeing as good as Ben is these days, I'm a little bit more optimistic, and I think that he'll do well now.
Okay, I'm gonna take you back to the beginning. First off, you say Ben was a playboy. Yes, Ben could have been a playboy, but wasn't he with like Jennifer for like 4 years, and then he's been married to Jennifer Garner for these next last 8 years? So it's kind of like, what was he a playboy? Was it before Jennifer Lopez?
Not necessarily.
No, he can play the role of it. Absolutely, I could totally see Ben, with chicks hanging all over him. But like in real life, in the media,
that's not necessarily him being like a George Clooney type. Not necessarily that.
Honestly,
but I remember there was a long period of time when he was quote unquote Benifer, when he would do anything for publicity. He would just be. Him and Jennifer Lopez would just be all over the streets.
They would be, but like it always seemed like when he was with Jennifer Lopez, he seemed like he was always carrying her purse. Didn't that seem like to you? It did to me.
I don't really remember that vividly, but I do remember that he was playing a role more than he was actually being himself.
No, we're talking about like his real life, not movies, just his like life. Well, as it was portrayed to us through the media, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. It just seemed like
when you looked at him, you didn't think this guy wrote one of the best
Good Will Hunting. Yeah,
of that time. You didn't think that. He wasn't behaving like that either.
At all. It literally seemed like Matt Damon wrote the whole thing, and when he went to go fall asleep, like Ben Affleck wrote his name and then submitted it. Like, oh, Ben, I submitted it for you. Don't worry about it. And then finally, when they got it back, it's like, wait a minute, I wrote. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Exactly. Exactly.
So that's okay with the whole plan. Okay, and you're right. You know, all your what you're saying about Ben and everything, and him playing the role of Bruce Wayne in this upcoming Batman vs Superman movie. Now, I'm going to take you through the range of emotions I had when I first heard the news. Okay, it came out on Thursday. It's now Tuesday now. And when I first heard it, initially when I read it, I was like, "Oh, Ben Affleck, all right, cool, yeah, he was great in Argo in the Town. Oh, looking forward to it." And then I sat and realized, like, wait a minute, why is everyone so mad? And then I didn't look up like anything. I was just thinking about it. I was like, I don't know why people would be so mad. And then I said, wait a minute, he's only really been like extraordinary in his last two movies. Okay, I guess he's coming up. And then I said, wait a minute, he's only been extraordinary in his last two movies that he's directed and somewhat written. Then I was like, so, well, he'll be okay in this next one. And then I realized who was directing him. I was like, oh no. So that's why I was feeling like, I wouldn't say, I wasn't mad. I'm not going to be mad about this. No, but I was feeling, I would say apprehension. I wasn't upset. I was kind of like, I don't know. I'm not saying he's going to fall flat in his face. You know, I only wish a few actors to fall flat on their face. Ben's not one of them. You know, I wish good things for him.
Who are the ones?
Katherine Heigl.
Okay.
I just hate that bitch.
I think that's already happened.
Yeah, I just want it to happen even more. I want her to be on like Rodeo Drive, be like shelling for change.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I just don't like it.
That she's gonna be like the host. She's probably gonna be like the host of the Oxygen Networks at one point or something like that.
That honestly would be an upgrade for her right about now because she's just
not doing well.
Not doing well. But
what was the other one?
I can't really think of them off my because you have to do something really, really bad to me for me to just not like you. I don't know. Katherine Heigl just at the top for me. For guys, I don't know. I can't think of anyone else. Because I'm all like, all right, you do some stupid shit. You do some shit in Hollywood. You know, it's all about making that money. And I get that. You do what you got to do to pay the bills, make that money. But there's just sometimes you do something like, wow, I can't talk to you anymore. You know?
Yeah.
So, this with that.
Okay.
So the thing is, after all those range of emotions, that's when, you know, I texted you and said, hey, you hear what happened? And we went back and forth about it. And Argo, excellent. The Town, excellent. Ben was also excellent in them, all right? And his directorial debut. And I was thinking, yeah, Ben's going to do some acting, but I'm thinking, like, he's going to be, like, the next generation of Spielbergs or Finchers or like Ridley Scott. He's going to be the next A-list directors you're going to want to see with things. And I'd love to see it kind of thing. I remember a few months ago when they're saying, all right, we're going to do this Justice League movie, and they were throwing Ben's name around.
Yeah. Yeah,
I was like, that's great. That's like I'd love to see Ben direct a Justice League movie.
Uh-huh.
So when I heard about him in this Batman role, I was sitting there thinking like, okay, I'm not sure because Zack Snyder's directing him. I don't know if he's going to have any input. Now, this is when I was texting you on Thursday. I don't know if he's going to have any input on the script. And I don't know how much influence he's going to have on this movie. Now, that was when I was texting you back and forth on Thursday and Friday. Now, as the weekend has rolled along and I've actually read more information, I actually learned this today. There's news coming out that he is having script input, which is great.
Okay.
It's good. I feel much better now that he's having script input on this. And what I was telling you before I even heard about this news is that, I went to, I'm a man of science and biology and method.
Right.
And me, you got to have past behavior predicts future behavior kind of thing. And minus those two movies that he directed and written, so basically his hands were all over it, his past track record hasn't been that good. So my worry was if he's not like having, his own hands on it, whether it be directing or writing or something in that, if someone else is just doing it for him and he's just there as an actor, I'm not sure how it's gonna happen. I'm not sure what's gonna happen. Now he could be great. I want him to be great, and he could be, subpar, like in like a lot of his movies before he started directing. That was either way. So it wasn't like, oh God, I don't want Ben. It was just like, I'd feel like you said with Josh Brolin, and I think they said they were talking to Ryan Gosling. Like, I'd feel better with actors that have actually worked with other directors and done well, instead of directing themselves or writing something they did and done well. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if I explained this the best way, but that's how
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. But here's my rebuttal to that. If you see a man and he is just barely juggling apples,
mm-hmm.
and the next time you see him, he's juggling like a pro and riding a unicycle at the same time,
uh-huh.
I'm not going to think that if I take his unicycle away, he can't juggle.
I see what you're saying there. But we also explained this when we were talking, that like we have like different views on this, which should be interesting. We have different views on this. I
think it really just comes down to, I don't think you understand that it is more difficult to act and direct at the same time than it is to just act.
And the thing is, what I'm saying, I'm on the opposite side of that. Like when we talked about it, we said that, or I said that it is easier to see one's vision or what you want to see as a director if you yourself are like when you direct an actor, you want to see something, you want to bring something out in them or bring out a certain performance in them. So when you're a director acting, or when you're an actor and directing something, you know what you want from the performance, so you emote it or you show kind of thing. But when another person, you bring in that third party, we said, and they're telling you, okay, I want you to do this, or I want you to do that, or I want you to do it a certain way. Not that they can't do it, but it's harder to convey that. It's harder to convey a person like exactly what you want to see or exactly what you want kind of thing. So I was thinking it was easier, or I guess not as difficult, for Ben to direct himself in something that he wrote and something that he brought together, because I think he had a producer credit in that too, in The Town and Argo, because that's like his thing, his baby. He
didn't necessarily write Argo.
Okay, he didn't write Argo, but wasn't he like a producer in it probably, or like it was like his thing.
He was the director, I'm sure of that, but I think, but Argo was based on a true story.
Yeah, it was based on a true. It was of course. Well, he didn't write it, I know, or come up with the story. It was based on a true story, and it was kind of like a producer, like he wanted to bring this to screen, kind of thing. Like he was involved. He was involved with it. As in something like with this Batman Superman movie, it's a sequel to something else. You already have another director. You already have. Let's be real. He's coming in the footsteps. And probably debatably the best person to play Bruce Wayne and Batman in the movies and on TV, and Christian Bale.
I disagree, but okay, keep going.
Okay, well, as I said, arguably,
okay,
you could debate that, but he's coming after. He's coming after that. That's one of the many sources of the nerd rage out there, is that like, oh, just Batman trilogies, why can't they blah 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 the same universe? And we've talked about this, that it'd be really hard to actually use Nolan's universe in this new, Zack Snyder universe, and it looks like they're not going to do that, which is fine.
Which is something you just have to understand that you can't do.
And I'm fine. With that.
There's certain things that just can't fly in certain universes.
Yeah.
You have to create a new universe for certain things to exist. Like, the Nolan universe is very much based on reality.
Yes.
And you can't have a character like Superman to come in and do that, because it doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
This version of what the
DC universe is.
The DC universe is. This universe is probably going to be much more elaborate.
Yes.
You're going to see a lot more people from different places, Batman characters that you probably wouldn't have seen before, Superman characters that you probably wouldn't have seen.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be really interesting.
Much more.
It's just like they had like two versions of the Marvel universe, in that. Well,
you mean the Fox versus Disney thing, or?
Well, yeah, it's Fox versus Disney
versus Sony.
Versus. Yeah.
Let's not get started on that, please. It just upsets me.
But then there was also that I don't remember what, I think it was
What?
I think I want to say Universal, but I know that's not right. Paramount, I think.
What did they do?
No, it's New Line.
New Line is Warner Brothers, but
well, I keep forgetting which one it is.
Okay, describe it. I can probably tell you.
But they had, but that universe has both Blade and the Punisher.
I'll use my superpowers for that. That is, I believe that's Sony. I think wasn't the Punisher like Sony? Let me look that up right now. Hold on.
The Punisher Warzone.
Yeah, that's kind of one of those, like, we're going to retcon that one.
But, Punisher Warzone and Blade kind of exist in the same universe.
In the same universe? Okay. Yeah, I could see that. But that was also before they kind of said, okay, we are actually going to, like, yeah, you're right. New Line. That's Warner Brothers. But that was before they actually started saying, we're going to establish this huge cinematic movie universe. Like, what Marvel has done has never been done in cinematic history like before, to the scale that they're doing it, kind of thing.
I do remember there was a Supergirl thing and there was a Flash thing at one point.
Weren't they like TV shows?
And Flash were in the same movie together. I want to say that's true, but it probably isn't.
I think you're probably thinking of the TV. I've never seen Flash in a movie, but I think TV show. Because I remember there was a TV show in the early 90s.
There was a Flash movie. There was a Flash movie. I'm pretty certain of that. But I don't think. Well, I take it back. Supergirl wasn't in that one.
There was a Supergirl movie.
Yeah, there was a Supergirl movie, and there was also a Flash movie, and they came out around the same time.
God, I gotta look this Flash movie. Man, I don't know if there was a Flash. I know there was a Supergirl movie. I remember that one, but I don't remember a Flash movie.
I'm almost certain of it.
Oh, let me go to the IMDb. Flash?
It was not good.
Oh, really? Something tells me that you would be correct in it not being good. Flash, let's see. Oh, was it a TV movie? Because there's a Flash TV movie in 1997. Wait. That is about a horse. Never mind.
Yeah, that was I've actually seen that movie.
Have you?
It's about a boy who steals a horse and runs away because some guy who was evil wanted the horse instead. Yeah, it in fact stars a pretty up and coming actor. I forget what his name is.
Oh, I'm on it right
I think
now.
he was in
Lucas
Friday Night
Black.
Lights. There you go, Lucas Black.
Yeah.
Lucas Black.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah, but no Flash. There's a Flash TV series. There's another upcoming Flash TV series that's going to be a spinoff of Arrow. Flash Gordon. There's the Flash in 2016, which we all know about. But yeah, there's no Flash movie. Maybe you're thinking of question. That Flash uniform that you remember from the movie, was it like all muscular?
No, he's wearing regular red, and he was running.
Was it like regular red space? It didn't look like all, because like, do you have your computer in front of you? Because if you look up like the Flash TV show, you see his uniforms like all muscular. Like It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that.
No, I think you know what? It might have been a TV show.
Yeah, because I remember the Flash TV show. I remember that one. I didn't watch it, but you know how you just have those flashes from childhood? I remember that. Yes, I remember the Flash TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 1990 or something.
Yes, yeah, exactly, or 1990 to like 92 or something like that. It was on CBS. Remember that?
Okay. Well, that must be it.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. So the whole like cinematic universe kind of thing, it wouldn't fit Nolan's universe. So you have to create its own thing. And I mean, honestly, to a point, DC's scrambling. And it sucks, like, because there's so many good characters, especially when it comes to the villains in the DC universe. You want them to take their time, and you want it to happen naturally. But they are literally trying to catch up with Marvel so bad, it feels like sometimes they might make some missteps that they really shouldn't,
Yes.
And I agree. It's just like, look, take your time, it will come. Because remember, Marvel did the same thing. Marvel made mistakes. Daredevil, Elektra, the first Hulk. They've made their mistakes,
Right.
but they learned from said mistakes and moved on. And ever since then, it's been hit after hit after hit.
Yeah, but it took a long time for them to figure it out.
Yeah, once they got all the properties under one roof kind of thing, it became a lot simpler.
No one even knew if that was going to fly until Robert Downey Jr. played.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Played Iron Man.
Iron Man, absolutely. And I remember that was the year of Downey. That's when he was in 3 things. He was like that, Sherlock, and some other movie. It was man, it was his year.
No. His return was Iron Man, and then the year after it was Sherlock.
Was the year after with Sherlock?
I believe it was the year after it was Sherlock. But since then, he's been on fire.
I remember in a 12-month span, he was in 3 huge movies, and they all banged. I just remember that. So yeah. But speaking of Batman movies that are coming up and things like this, I want just to share with you this article I saw on Yahoo. This great article I saw on Yahoo. It said the 7 Batman films that didn't make the cut. Did you know between Batman and Robin and the Dark Batman Begins, there were 7 attempts to make a Batman movie?
7 attempts to make a Batman movie? 7.
Wow. Yeah. The first one, they were talking about with Batman Forever. All right, Batman Forever happened and everything like that. When they wanted to make Batman Forever, first of all, they wanted Tim Burton to make it.
Right, that was the original plan.
That was the original plan for Tim Burton to make it, and they wanted
Billy D. Williams was going to be Two-Face.
He was going to be Two-Face Harvey Dent, and they wanted Robin Williams to play the Riddler.
Which I think would have been all right.
It would have been all right.
Now knowing how good of an actor Robin Williams is.
Even back when, 97, that was before Bicentennial Man, wasn't it?
It might have been the same year.
Might have been the same year, something like that. But yeah, so they said in Burton's version of Batman Forever, which apparently never reached the script stage, the Riddler would have still been the main villain, and Robin Williams was reportedly on track to play the role. Shaved and with a question mark on his head, no less. How would that look? So you know how they have the Batman logo on people's heads when the 89 Batman came out? Would it be a question mark on the side of his head or what?
I think they probably would have done just that.
Something like that. So Two-Face is rumored to play a secondary villain as Billy D. Williams, like you said, played Harvey Dent in Batman, which would have made sense and it would have had continuity.
Right. They set him up for it because he was in the second movie. I think he might have been even in the first one.
Billy D. Williams? Maybe.
I know for sure he was in the second one.
Yeah, Batman Returns, absolutely. Here's the funny thing. Apparently, Marlon Wayans had actually screen tested for the role of Robin. Could you imagine that?
Marlon Wayans?
Marlon Wayans is Robin.
Okay, what year was this?
This was before they made Batman and Robin, so probably 96. If you screen tested for it.
Yeah.
This is before Requiem.
I could see why they would do that because Hollywood was kind of like that at the time. They're getting a little non-traditional, and at the same time, I guess Marlon Wayans had Marlon Wayans done, what do you call it already?
Requiem for a Dream?
Requiem for a Dream.
No, that was 2001. He had not done that yet.
So I understand that.
He was still doing the Wayans Brothers show and
they probably would have wanted him to do a crazy comedy.
Exactly. He would have been the comic relief kind of thing. Which sadly those
the one on the other side balancing out Robin Williams, who they thought he was probably going to just go nuts.
Exactly. So yeah, so that could have happened. The next movie here is something they called Batman Triumphant, and this one says before talking about before they're talking about Batman Triumphant, it's important to talk about what happened in the years after Tim Burton was booted from Batman Returns. While Joel Schumacher's Batman Forever performed fairly well, Batman and Robin released in 1997 was a train wreck, as everyone would know. Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
Chill out.
I still say that Arnold Schwarzenegger is not to blame for that.
Oh, yeah, he's one of the 5 million things to blame for.
The casting director who picked Arnold Schwarzenegger is to blame for that.
It says here, up until Batman and Robin had been released, the studio had been planning another Batman film, of course, entitled Batman Triumphant, and in which Schumacher was slated to return along with the main cast of the previous film. While Schumacher wanted to do a darker film based on the well-known Frank Miller comic, The Dark Knight Returns. The studio wanted the film to be more marketable, remembering all too well what happened when they did Tim Burton's Batman Returns. Before Batman Triumphant was shut down, and the aftermath of Batman and Robin, how that was just a shitstorm, the film was set to star Nicolas Cage as Scarecrow, your boy, and a rumored Madonna as Harley Quinn, playing Joker's daughter in this version of the events.
That's not bad.
It's not. Like, back in 99, not really. I thought about it, I was like, Joker's, okay. It was like, Nicolas Cage is Scarecrow. I can see that. And then Madonna's Harley Quinn. I was like, all right, okay, let's see what happens. It also says, the film also might have had Jack Nicholson returning to Batman during a dream sequence, luckily brought upon Scarecrow's fury gas. That's actually not a bad idea.
That's not awful.
It's not. But for the studio's like, we have to be more, we have to appeal to the audience and be marketable.
Oh, man.
You fucking stupid. That would have been
would have been an all right movie.
Actually, pretty cool. Scarecrow, I actually really like Scarecrow kind of thing. He's not physically not weak, but he's one of the most dangerous ones ever.
When was that? When was that they were talking about making that movie?
This was in 99. So after Batman and Robin,
So this is back when Nicolas Cage was all ripped.
Exactly. This is
Coming off Con Air.
On Air Nicolas Cage. Exactly. This totally would have worked.
That totally would have worked. I would have been all in about that movie.
I know you would have been. That's what when I saw Nick Cage, I was like, oh, Tony's gonna love this shit.
And then he would have been fighting George Clooney, right?
Well, yeah, like with the fear serum and everything like that. So
yeah, so that would have been good.
Yeah. The next one is The Dark Knight Returns. It says 1999 here. It says, despite the failure of Batman and Robin, Warner Brothers was discussing plans for a new movie with Joel Schumacher in 99. And the studio at least entertained the idea of adapting Frank Miller's famous The Dark Knight Returns graphic novel. Tell you, about The Dark Knight Returns. Bruce is 55 years old. The U.S. government saying he's a problem. And pretty much they have a leash on Superman, releasing him on him like that. They said some of the villains that show up in the movie would have been Two-Face, the Joker, and Selina Kyle. Both Michael Keaton and Clint Eastwood were rumored for the lead roles as an older Bruce Wayne Batman.
Ah.
But Warner Brothers balked at the dark threads present in the graphic novel, feeling that such a film wouldn't be marketable. Oh, those small-minded.
You know what? They might have been right at the time.
99.
This is early internet days. This is before
geeks ruled the earth.
Yeah, this is before geeks ruled the earth.
Yeah.
Today, yes.
Yes. Today it would work. It would work. But think about it, Clint Eastwood as an older grizzled bat.
Well, at the time they were probably also looking at him because of how well he did in Unforgiven.
Yeah. I mean, you put a little bulk on Clint Eastwood. I could, You don't
even need to put bulk on Clint. I mean, well, actually, he's kind of a thin guy. He's always been a thin guy.
He's always been a thin guy kind of thing. And not to mention in the comic, the Batman, the Dark Knight. I know you can't do, shot for shot kind of thing, but Batman's pretty huge in the Dark Knight Returns.
Well, also, but if Michael Keaton played Batman,
yeah,
there's no reason why Clint Eastwood can't.
Yeah,
because Michael Keaton's not a big guy either.
No, well, big muscle,
but he can wear a muscly suit.
Those muscles on it, and then you bring in Schumacher, put out some bat nipples, and there you go.
Yeah, but also at the same time, I don't think that Clint Eastwood would have done that.
No, he wouldn't have. I know he wouldn't have, but just thinking about it, I know Clint wouldn't have done that. I know he wouldn't have done that. Next year we have Batman Year One, which is in 2000, and they said at this point they pretty much said, Joel Schumacher, go fuck yourself. My one brother said.
Right.
Since they couldn't figure out what direction they wanted to go with the series, so after another potential Batman film, Batman Dark Knight, the K is sharing with the Dark and the Night, involving the Scarecrow and Man-Bat fizzled out, so they wanted to do one with Scarecrow and Man-Bat. Warner Brothers set their sights on another graphic novel, Year One. The storyline was actually similar to Batman Begins, but Schumacher pushed for a sequel to Tim Burton's Batman using the graphic novel Year One as a last push to get Batman film paid. While the studios were fond of this idea, they later tried another version of Year One before settling on Batman Begins. Warner was ready to push Schumacher out the door to the delight of Batman fans. Schumacher, similar to the previous film concept, the comic version of Batman Year One was also adapted into an animated movie. Have you seen that one? The animated movie of Year One?
Yeah, I've seen it. It was good.
It was really good. It was really good. And that actually makes sense. So this is pretty much somewhat of a precursor to Batman Begins.
Oh, Bryan Cranston played the commissioner in that movie.
Yeah, he did. The voice of the commissioner. Yeah.
And you know what's also funny? What's interesting? We haven't brought this up yet.
We haven't. Let's get through this, and we will bring that up. I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about. And we will bring that up, though. The next one is, brace yourself, Tony. Could you imagine? Think about this. This is 2002. Could you imagine a Darren Aronofsky Batman movie?
No, I can't.
Well, the studio almost could. They said here, apparently Aronofsky and this is after Requiem for a Dream. So we already saw the crazy shit Aronofsky could do. So Aronofsky worked closely with graphic novel Frank Miller to create what is likely the most radical Batman script ever. Could you imagine Frank Miller and Darren Aronofsky getting together making a Batman movie?
That would have been the darkest Batman movie anyone has ever seen.
He would have walked out and be like, I don't know if I should live anymore, man.
I don't know if, yeah. Have you seen any other Aronofsky films? Have you seen, like, Pi?
I've seen Pi. Pi was just everywhere. I didn't like Pi. Trust me, I like Black Swan, and I liked Working for... I didn't like Pi. Pi was just everywhere for me.
Yeah, man, that would have been a dark movie.
Yeah, especially right after Requiem for a Dream. If they were to say on the screen from the director of Requiem for a Dream, you would have been like, oh shit!
What?
It says here, the big changes with Aronofsky's Batman Year One began with the fact that Bruce Wayne does not have the benefit of wealth when his parents are murdered. The player narrative for the film had been likened to Taxi Driver, in which Bruce would slowly become a bloodthirsty superhero, meting out increasingly violent justice. The script also has Selena Kyle as a black prostitute who decides to pursue justice after witnessing Batman's act, and a Gordon character based off Dirty Harry. That's where you're bringing Clint
Yeah.
as the commissioner. It says here, my pitch was Death Wish or French Connection meets Batman. Holy shit.
You can't take Batman's money away from him, then how can he be Batman?
Well, here's the synopsis. So the synopsis of the film was as follows, according to the book. Young Bruce Wayne is found in the street after his parents' murder and taken in by Big Al, who runs an auto repair shop with his son, Little Al. Driven by a desire for vengeance towards a manifest destiny of which he is only dimly aware, young Bruce, of deliberate and determined age, toils day and night in the shop, watching the comings and goings of hookers, johns, pimps, and corrupt cops at a sleazy East End cat house across the street. While chain-smoking detective James Gordon struggles with the corruption he finds endemic among Gotham City police officers of all ranks. While the concept is interesting to say the least, Warner Brothers ultimately passed on the project, although Aronofsky and Miller want to convert it to a graphic novel in the future.
Well, you know why? Because they already did that, and they called it The Watchmen.
Well, this is back in 2002, though.
Yeah, I know, but that was all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the synopsis of The Watchmen.
Pretty much.
That's
Rorschach. That's Rorschach.
That's Rorschach's. Yeah, that's exactly. That's Rorschach's
Rorschach.
character from The Watchmen.
Exactly. So, but if this was made, I don't think The Watchmen. Wait. So here's a good question: if this was made, would The Watchmen be made? Would have Watchmen been made?
They would have done Watchmen either way.
Either way.
I think Darren Aronofsky should have done The Watchmen.
Yeah.
If you were going to pick someone to do The Watchmen, you should have had Darren Aronofsky do that.
Now that is something he should have done. As dark and twisted as that movie, yeah, that has Aronofsky's name written all over it. Yeah, you're right about that one. Next one here is, they're talking about this new movie, Batman vs. Superman?
Yeah.
There was supposed to be one back in 2004. So when Warner Brothers passed on Aronofsky's borderline insane Batman Year One,
right,
it was because they had decided to go with a far more conventional Batman vs. Superman idea that Andrew Kevin Walker, who you might know wrote Seven, okay, writer of Seven, all right, had pitched them back in 2001. The plot reportedly revolved around the relationship between Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent in the wake of Bruce's fiancée being murdered by the Joker, which means Batman's married in this one. Have you ever seen Batman married in any of his incarnations?
No, he's never been married.
Yeah, he's always been a loner. Anyways, Bruce's violent nature begins to take over Batman as Superman is forced to help stop him. fighting somewhere along the way. Of course, they resolved their differences before taking down both the Joker and Lex Luthor. Now, this would have to be I guess this would be a reboot somehow because he killed off the Joker in '89. So
yeah, of
I don't
course
know.
it'd have to be a reboot.
Yeah, it says the film appears to have been the closest thing it appears to be the closest to being made of everything on this list. Christian Bale and Josh Hartnett already offered the roles of Batman and Superman. Yeah, remember back in the day or a few years ago where they were talking about
I guess they wanted Christian Bale as Superman.
No, they wanted him as Batman and Josh Hartnett as Superman. Because remember when they were saying, like, who's going to play Superman, who's going to play Superman, who's going to play Superman? And I remember Josh Hartnett's name being thrown out there. I remember that.
I don't think that sounds sick to me.
When they did Superman Returns, because remember, this was back in 2004 when they were thinking. So it's like 2003.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I remember Josh Hartnett was out there before they picked Brandon Rourke. So it says, Christian Bale and Josh Hartnett had been offered the roles of Batman and Superman, respectively, and principal photography was set to begin in 2003 with the 2004 release. However, director Peterson ended up leaving for Troy. Ouch. Tony.
Oh, no.
Just as shoot dates were lined up, so Warner's decided to scrap the project entirely and reboot, which is probably a good move by all involved except for Peterson, who ended up directing a poorly received movie instead. And now that the Man of Steel sequel is set to come out in 2015, Warner's thankful they're lucky stars they didn't do this. So, yeah. So, you know what? I'm not going to do this Batman Super. I'm going to go direct Troy.
Now that's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I get Brad Pitt?
I get Eric Bana? Oh, yeah. Who else was in that? Was it like Angelina Jolie in that or something like that?
No,
that was
Alexander.
That was Alexander or something like that. Yeah, so, yeah, it sucks to be him. And have you heard from him since? No.
No.
No. After Troy, it was just downhill from there.
He's going to be mad at himself every day because of that.
He might have been blacklisted too because, like it said, there was the closest to being made. They already had a principal photography. And for him to just say, no, don't do this, I'm going to do Troy, he might have been blacklisted.
There's that possibility. I mean, people get blacklisted all the time.
Oh, yeah.
For a lot of different reasons.
Oh, yeah. And the last one here this is the one I thought was going to get made before the Dark Knight Rises came out. It's called Justice League Mortal. The most recent film that almost was George Miller's Justice League Mortal was being developed around the same time Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight was coming out in theaters. If you remember the rumors, which I do, the series was planned to occur alongside Nolan's universe without necessarily crossing over. It was meant to go toe-to-toe against Marvel's The Avengers. Because remember when there was news of they're going to make an Avengers movie, and DC was like, oh shit, we got to make our own? Because I remember seeing this. I even remember seeing on IMDb the people that were listed to be in this movie, as in, they had Adrian Brody playing The Flash, DJ Catrona as Superman, don't know who the hell that is, Common as Green Lantern, because I remember that, because,
all right, so they were going to go with John Stewart.
Exactly, you know how I'm a huge Green Lantern fan, and I'm thinking like, all right, Black Green Lantern, let's do this, and I was waiting for the movie, Megan Gale as Wonder Woman, Arnie Hammer as Batman, Teresa Palmer as Talia al Ghul. Yeah, and the thing is, apparently Miller specifically didn't choose A-list actors for the project, hoping the actors would grow over the course of the series. And if you sit and think about it, that's not a bad idea. You know,
that's not bad. But didn't Adrian Brody win the an Academy Award for The Pianist at the time?
No, that's not. Is that Brody or someone else? Am I thinking of someone else? Hold on, Adrian Brody.
This guy with a big nose, right?
Hold on, Brody. No, I think he was the comedy kid. No. Yeah, you're right. Adrian Brody for The Pianist. Yeah, he was supposed to play The Flash, and I mean, Con was supposed to play Green Lantern. I don't know who this DJ whatever guy was.
DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah. Now him playing Superman, I'd watch that. But yeah, so I remember.
You already know he can fly. Ah.
See, that's something like that was a movie I would look. That was a movie like I was. Yeah, you know what? I was looking forward to that because the Black Green Lantern. I was thinking like, all right, Justice League movie. and then Frank Miller, his idea of them growing as the thing, because, if they're going to make sequels, them growing as it went along, would be better. But it says, it fizzled out in 2010 to the relief of most comic fans. With the recent news of Justice League in 27, appears for property, yada, yada, yada. So, yeah. So those are the 7 Batman movies that could have been, but weren't.
Well,
yeah.
Some of those were actually all right.
Exactly. Some of the ideas were actually, okay. It was just the studio was like, I don't know about this.
Yeah. Well.
And speaking, you know what? I put this question out on our Facebook page. About,
didn't we say something about?
Oh yes, that's right. So I found out something today. I don't think it's confirmed yet, but it's rumored, and it's like a heavy rumor.
Yeah.
So Tony,
Bryan Cranston set to play Lex Luthor.
Yo, Mr. Luthor.
I think that's a great choice. I mean, you've seen Bryan Cranston do such amazing work in Breaking Bad.
Yes.
And everything that he's done just since then has been, it's been really good as far as him in television goes. But
yeah.
But Hollywood really hasn't given him a shot to do what we all know that he can do on a big screen.
Absolutely. Yeah, I saw Total Recall, and I felt so bad for him because, damn, he was just wasting in that movie.
Yeah, he was also wasted in Red Tails.
You know what? He was in the trailer, and I liked him in that trailer.
That's about as much as time as he got in the actual film, too.
I know. It's, I love Bryan Cranston. I really do. Here's my things about this. If he gets the part, I'm not going to be like, well, fuck. I'm going to be like, cool, they got someone who's established, and he's going to do a great job. But here's my thing about that. First, like Lex Luthor, usually with the Superman, Lex Luthor and Clark Kent or Superman are around the same age, because they kind of.
I don't think that's a necessary thing.
It's not a necessary.
I know you like to watch. You've seen Smallville.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. But really, when you look at it, back in the original Superman, Kevin Spacey and Gene Hackman, was not the same age as yeah,
but he wasn't 25. Yeah, but Bryan Cranston's 57, and then Henry Cavill's like 33. He wasn't 20 years older than he was.
He could have easily been.
No, he wasn't. Gene Hackman wasn't 20 years older than Christopher Reeve.
I'm not saying 10, but that doesn't mean that necessarily.
I'm not saying they have to,
because they weren't fist fighting or anything.
I'm not. Oh, I know they're not fist fighting. I'm not saying they have to. I'm not saying they have to be the exact same age. But I am saying they have to be somewhat in the same compare. I think it would add more to the storyline. Now this is just me, extrapolating. But I think it would somewhat add to the storyline if they're in the same age group, because Superman has the brawn, Lex has the brains kind of thing, and you could somewhat see them. Because they're in the same age group, maybe they go with the storyline of, okay, they're friends in the beginning, and then maybe later
they become enemies, like we haven't seen that 100,000 times before.
Well, again, Tony, that's in every storyline you see, regardless of whether it's superhero or not, kind of thing, And like some of the greatest rivalries and greatest enemies.
I think the idea of Superman being this young guy who wants to do well, who wants to use his powers to do well, may not be the smartest guy in the world, but his heart is in the right place.
Yes. Yeah.
Him versus a guy who is smarter than him, way smarter than him, older than him. He knows how the game is played politically. He knows absolutely everything about it. He is pretty much the establishment. He's the word on it. I mean, but he's all his mind is centered towards evil.
But here's the thing. I don't think it's
of Superman wanting to be good, but not knowing how to say that he's good enough in a way that's better than the way that a guy like Lex Luthor could say it. I think that's just a great thing. Which, if you have, it's just like It's just like you and I. We know what the truth is, and we know what good things are.
Mhm.
But would it be easy for us to go up in front of Congress and talk when you got polished, professional politicians there speaking for the other side?
But here's the thing. But Lex being younger, around Superman's age, would just show even more how charismatic, suave, and how much of a super genius he is at being at such a young age and being so established, at being like maybe 35 or even 40, and having the clout and wisdom and people looking up to him like he's a 60-year-old. That would just make Lex seem even more like I don't want to say awe-inspiring, but that would make him even more impressive if he was younger. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying him being older is going to take away all that. But what I'm saying is I think it would add to something if Lex was younger. But it's like, well, like, for example, like if they did like an origin story on Lex, they could say he was like a child genius. He invented something like a military contract, became like an evil Iron Man kind of thing, Like he's a child genius. He became a billionaire. He built up LexCorp. He's doing all these other things. He has military contracts, which later you could maybe introduce Cadmus, something like that. I think it would I think it would add more to the story if he was a younger Lex, and then as he grows into it, you see him in that rivalry with Superman. Also, keep in mind where I read the article, it said that Bryan Cranston would have a 6-movie deal, like appearances with movies and things like that. And
of course, they're gonna throw him the rest of the other movies.
Yeah, and I understand that. But if it's something you want to build on for years or bring people together and bring in other movies and things like that, and he's already 57, I'm not saying he's too old for anything. But again, that comes with the whole, like, if they're all somewhat around the same age, you see the rivalry come together, and they grow along with the movies. Yeah. That's what I'm feeling. And that's what I'm feeling.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I understand that. And I understand that is definitely a way to go. But what I'm also thinking of is just this whole idea of dad's home. The whole idea of there's this guy who is pretty much like, we all want our world to be in a positive place in the future, like, but there's that older generation who is not necessarily that much older, but just like one, like our parents' age. It's just a little bit older. They have more power, and they're not going to let it go. I like that idea of
like you against the establishment kind of thing.
Yeah,
and I see that, and that's
and I think that's the best. And I think if you're gonna go with quote unquote the establishment, their leader of the establishment can't be a young guy. He's got to be a guy who's died in the wool. He is that establishment character. He knows everything. His entire life is invested in it. He knows the ins and outs of everything political, everything having to do with money and resources and spin and press. And he just has to be the embodiment of that establishment. And for him to be a younger guy, I don't think it really works.
I can see your point. I can see your point there. I mean, hopefully, regardless of what we're saying and thinking, it could be completely different of what they do in the movie. I just hope it's good, Right. Regardless of what we say, we just hope it's good. Also with Bryan Cranston, I'd like to see him do other things. I don't want him to get typecast as the evil bald dude, he looks awesome doing it, but I don't want him to get typecast as the evil bald dude.
Well, that's true.
Even in his movies, he's evil. He's evil in Total Recall. He was an asshole in Red Tails, and
he doesn't have a kind face.
He was in Malcolm in the Middle for forever. He was the goofy guy in Malcolm in the Middle, the goofy dad.
Yeah, but then his face got old.
His face got old.
You see him in Breaking Bad now? He's like, "Ooh, you look rough."
Well, hey, if they could make Lady Gaga or whatever all these other female celebrities look good, they can make Bryan Cranston look good in the movie to be a good guy or whatever he wants to do.
That's true.
So I mean,
speaking of Lady Gaga,
oh God,
and all those other ladies who show their gaga bits.
Mm-hmm. We're on 53 minutes, so keep that in mind.
Okay. What do you think about real quick? What do you think about Mylie Cyrus and her striptease thing with Robin Thicke?
Here's my thing about not just that, but here's my thing. Okay, first off, we gotta put this out there. Have you seen that picture with Robin Thicke and Mylie Cyrus?
I saw the whole performance.
Okay, tell me that motherfucker doesn't look like Beetlejuice.
He does. He had a Beetlejuice suit on. Who
the fuck told him to take the stage? You know, oh, dude, you look awesome in this. Fuck no. You look like you took a ref's uniform for the NFL and cut it up and made a suit.
Looks like he walked right out of '92 with that.
Oh my god, I saw it. Anyways, but with Mylie Cyrus, my thing about Mylie Cyrus is, let's see if you agree with me on this. Is it just me or is she trying too hard?
She's definitely trying to be Madonna. It's pretending like, as if she didn't have this past before of her being like the squeaky clean girl.
Because it's like, you know, like Lady Gaga, she was always Lady Gaga. She was just like always out there batshit crazy. And Keisha was always out there batshit crazy. And like Rihanna, she wasn't batshit crazy, but she always had that, you know, that sexiness, sultriness to her, right? And then like the minute she turned 18 and they said you don't have to do Hannah Montana anymore, it's like she went buck wild for no reason. She's like that crazy.
She was probably like that all the time anyway.
I understand that, but she
didn't. You just couldn't say it.
She's like that crazy girl at the party that, like, yeah, you like to, you know, to have fun and crazy girl, but she's the one you kind of avoid. Like, man, this bitch is getting annoying now. That's where Mylie Cyrus is right now. She's getting annoying.
I think she's kind of doing the same thing that Christina Aguilera did back in the day. Remember, Christina Aguilera did it big like that. Britney Spears did it big like that. I think she may have gone a little too far in their first outing. But she has a lot to make up. She has a lot to go the other way for.
She went full retard with it?
She went, yeah, but she was also full the other way on it. Like, she was like super wholesome.
Yeah.
And then she switched it around, and so she went super dirty the other way.
Yeah, but
and I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm a grown man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's that bad because she's kind of a grown woman too. You know, and you can always make your own decisions. And I always like to see these train wrecks. You know, I'm a big
Of course.
So if all of a sudden someone puts the hammer down on some train and starts going at a billion miles an hour, I'm like, this can only end horribly.
Understandable. And yes, we all do like looking at a train wreck, but I'm just like, stop, like there's a difference between not giving a fuck and trying too hard. And like Charlie Sheen, he just didn't give a fuck. You know, that was cool, and that was a train wreck.
That's like a guy who had always been like that.
Yeah.
It's not like he had a squeaky clean image.
Exactly. He never had a squeaky clean image. Like all the way back to his Platoon days, and he never had a squeaky clean image. He's always been Charlie Sheen, the crazy guy. Well, with her, it's just like, I'm not saying that she should stay squeaky clean. I'm not saying that. Should she grow up and be more adult? Absolutely. But at the same time, you could be sexy, you could be seductive, you could be all these things, but you don't have to be fucking stupid. And that's what it looks like she's doing. And I know it seems like I care about her in some way, but it's just like, I don't care. You know?
You're just concerned about her and her career.
Of course.
I guess, because, corporate Ugo is cutthroat.
Well,
corporate Ugo wants you to make as much money as you possibly can.
Well, she's making a lot of money now, but I'm saying is just, you know what? You know, this is what I'm honestly saying. Can we just cut to the chase and just come up with the sex tape already? Seriously?
That's probably in the works.
That's what I'm saying. Like, cut the bullshit. I don't care about all this twerking bullshit. Just let me see you take a big dick in your mouth, because that's honestly what's gonna come. That's honestly what it's gonna come to.
You think she's gonna be all Amanda Bynes out like that?
No, she's not gonna go. Look, she's not gonna be like Amanda Bynes crazy. But I'm talking about when that sex tape comes out, it's just gonna be something stupid. You know?
I think if you're gonna look for a sex tape, you should look for an Amanda Bynes sex tape.
Yeah, there'd be that too. Yeah. I don't know. But like real quick, I posted the question about Ben Affleck coming out like he's gay, but Ben Affleck coming up on as the Dark Knight and the new Superman movie, and
Yeah.
we got a response from one of our Script Club patrons, Jared H. Tatum. Thanks,
Jared.
for the response here. I said, what do you think about Ben Affleck being the new Dark Knight? He said, like I'm telling everyone, I'm willing to give this a chance. It will be interesting to see Ben Affleck in the role. It's just that the factors, Zack Snyder directing, David S. Goyer writing, is what's keeping me from thinking it's going to be great. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but they look like an 8-8 team making the playoffs by a technicality. And I responded like, wow, that is a great analogy.
That really does. That makes a lot of sense.
That makes a lot of sense. And I responded saying like, that's a great analogy. It would be like Marvel's a 14-2 team with the first week bye and the Super Bowl going through their town.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
But
I
think if Nolan is the producer on this next one,
I don't know if he is.
I don't know.
He's busy with Interstellar right now.
Well, even if they don't have Nolan, they still have Ben.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that they're going to, as well as
they have David S. Goyer.
As much good stuff as that came from them having Nolan around, I don't think they're just going to ignore Ben, because that would be stupid. Neither of them. I mean, well, I wouldn't say necessarily Goyer, because Goyer can actually be pretty good.
No, he can.
He can be pretty good. He's hit or miss.
Yeah, he's hit or miss.
But
when he hits, he hits.
Yeah, when he hits, he hits. Well, when he misses, he really
misses.
But I think Snyder is. I think Snyder understands the benefit of having someone who's better than he is, helping him in the director's chair.
And also keep this in mind. I honestly think they gave Ben this job on the contingency of tit for tat. They said, Ben, we'll let you be Batman, but you got to direct Justice League. Or he said, I'll be Batman, but I got to direct Justice League. One way or the other.
I don't think it was like that, because
I kind of think it was.
Everyone wants this role of Batman.
I kind of, because look at the backlash. Because even though people are starting to come to their senses somewhat, look at the backlash of him being cast as Bruce. It's not like you're saying everyone wanted him. Everyone at Warner Brothers maybe wanted him to keep him in house. Because remember, they did lose Legendary Pictures, who produced all the Dark Knight movies and this last Superman. They went to Universal. They went to Universal now because they wanted a cable network.
Think about that.
Exactly. So there's like, all right, we got to regroup and keep what we have. What's been our big thing? Ben, Argo. Okay, we're going to keep Ben, kind of thing. And if Legendary Pictures is gone, we have to find a way to produce these, ourselves. Let's keep in Ben. Let's have him direct Justice League, and let's just give him whatever he wants, kind of thing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not a bad thing. If that's the case, then all right, I'll accept that deal. If he becomes Batman and directs Justice League, I'm fine with that. And not to mention, we also do know, you're right, it's not going to be Snyder just lording over everything. Of course, Ben's going to have input on this. Of course, David S. Goyer is going to have input on this. And if we're really, really lucky, maybe Christopher Nolan will take a day off from Interstellar or whatever else he's doing and come in and put in his own few notes.
Right.
You just hope it doesn't turn into a whole like too many cooks in the pot kind of thing. But at the same time, I trust Nolan. I trust Goyer. When it comes to directing, I trust Ben here. When it comes to acting, I'm going to trust him too. I'm going to trust him on this one. And I'm going to trust that he doesn't let me down. I really am. I'm really hoping he's not going to let me down on this. Because I like the DC Universe. I like Green Lantern. I want to see the... You know why I want this to work? I want them to see them reboot Green Lantern. I do. And even if they have to go like... Because remember... For those who don't know the Green Lantern lore, Hal Jordan's the first Green Lantern, but when Hal left to go on all these other adventures in the universe, they said, okay, we need another Green Lantern in the sector. They picked Jon Stewart. Could they introduce a black Green Lantern in this new Justice League movie? I don't know. They could. They couldn't. I don't know. But
they probably will. I mean, otherwise, what else are you going to do?
I really hope so.
Because for most kids today,
the Green Lantern they know is black.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Green Lantern's black.
Jon Stewart. Until recently, the Green Lantern they know is Jon Stewart. Yeah, I know. And him being the Green, and they even like say it in the comics, like because your mind wields what your ring does, the way you use your ring is kind of a reflection of your personality. Like Hal Jordan, he had all these crazy constructs because he was a super imaginative kind of guy. With Jon Stewart,
he was a Marine. He's military, so everything he does with his ring is like short and to the point. Like he doesn't build like a huge catapult to throw something. No, he just shoots a huge beam at you, kind of.
Right.
He's more concise with his stuff like that. With Kyle Rayner, the other ones, he's an artist, so his things are more like phantasmical and crazy. And with Guy Gardner, he's just a big old hothead. So his stuff's like really like explosive. So like and I hope if they do, again, I'm speculating pie in the sky, my wet dream when it comes to superhero movie. I'm hoping when they do show Green Lanterns, when they show Lanterns' powers, they show how their personalities impact their powers. But that's just me.
Hey, just thinking this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that there could possibly be a Black Justice League?
What do you mean?
I mean, you got the Black Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
There is a Black Batman. I forget what his name is.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Akbar the Black Superman?
No. I'm talking about there's a black guy.
Really?
And he's pretty much like Batman, except he's like something else. It's like Darkwing or something. Anyway, you got him, and I think there was like wasn't there like a black chick who was like Wonder Woman?
There was a vixen. She basically could embody the strength or ability of any animal that she summoned with this thing she had.
That's a good question. I think. Hey, well, did we have the question? What do you think about black superheroes? How many other black superheroes are going to be?
I don't know if we had that question or not.
Maybe we should pose that for the next deal.
Maybe.
For the next deal, let's say we want to know what type of superhero movies you want to see coming up in the future. What do you think? That's a good question.
That'd be a very good question. Or which superhero do you love that you'd like to see a movie of?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Something like that,
Yeah.
Oh, no. There you go, audience. Bring us your answers and we shall discuss.
All right. Looks like we're a little over an hour, so.
All right.
Sounds good enough.
All right, thanks, guys, and we will see you next time. And until then, let's keep in rebellion.
That's right.